Well, this is Sue Burton, and I am interviewing Zelma Rivin, who has been a library patron for many years. And we are trying to get some information from people who have been library users over the past 100 years, although Zelma certainly doesn't qualify for that far back. My first question is, do you remember your first visit to the library?
I don't believe I remember my first visit. I remember visits, but I don't remember which one was the first.
Okay. And what did you remember about the library during those visits?
I had always used the school libraries, public school libraries. So my first real need for the public library may have been as a freshman in college, when I came home for a spring break or a Christmas break and needed to work on a paper. So I remember going into the library, which was strange to me because I had never been in it before. I was perhaps a freshman in college or a sophomore, and I went down the little walkway between the courthouse and the Catholic Club. I remember that it was between those two, and it was a tiny little wooden structure with an A roof. And when you entered, there was someone at a desk on the left. She didn't face you as you went in. She was beside you. And there were maybe 3 or 4 stacks in that building, and then there was an attached building behind it. I remember having to step down into that, where there were tables so that you could sit and read and take notes and so forth, and there were also some stacks back there, but it was not an extensive library by any means.
Right. I know that some of the newspaper articles that we found back from the 50s said that it appeared to be a branch library and certainly not the central library because it was so tiny.
I believe it was the only library.
It was.
And when I'm talking about the 30s, because I went to college, I graduated high school in 37, so I was using it in 38, 39, 40. I don't know how long before that it had been opened.
Right.
I wasn't knowledgeable enough about the library. But I believe I was a freshman in college when I first went in there. And I remember the desk on the left as you entered, and I remember the name of the person who was standing there, and it was a person named Faye Jones. I don't believe she was a librarian.
And was that a favorable visit? Did you find what you needed?
You know, I don't remember that, but I remember on subsequent visits that I needed to go to Norfolk.
Okay.
To find whatever I was doing research on, that I needed to go over to the Norfolk Public Library.
So you would say you were a library patron for over 70 years?
Absolutely, because I certainly was in there in 38, in the late 30s, and I'm certainly in there now in 2014.
So why do you keep visiting?
Oh, it's the most wonderful place to visit. I can't stay out of a library. I think I didn't really appreciate libraries until I was taking graduate studies over at ODU, well, much, much later. But that's when I really fell in love with libraries. You don't really appreciate them when you're so young. You use them because you need to.
Right.
But now I use them because I love it. I love being in the library.
And as a member of the Students Club, you are still doing papers. You said you had a very favorable experience within the last few
Oh,
months.
it was wonderful. I came in to do some research on a paper I was doing for the Students Club. It had to do with the sacred places of Indians. And I went immediately to the computer to search, and I couldn't find much. Couldn't find anything on the computer. I didn't know where to look,
Right.
actually.
Right.
And so then I went to the research desk, and the whole world opened up. Books were brought to me, information was taken from me, books were ordered on interlibrary loan. When they arrived, I received a phone call. I was called to remind that I should return the books, and I said I would return them when I finished my paper, and that was acceptable. It was just a delightful, wonderful experience.
Well, we always love to hear things like that. And so thank you so much, Zelma, for your help and for passing on these memories, and we appreciate it.